Hey guys, welcome back. So we're still doing PSA, although we have changed it up a little bit. We're doing it by sets of 10 for a lot of reasons. One, just for video length, so you all don't have to hear me talk for over 20 minutes. On top of that, we just really don't have a reason to do sets of 20 anymore. We were originally doing sets of 20, that was our habit. It seemed like a good number, but videos were a little long. But without further ado, if you got any more questions, go ahead and drop it in the comments and we'll explain more so why, if there's anything you're missing. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and do our first set of 10, first by 10, name of this episode. We're going to do some mainly more modern cards and mainly some ones that were pretty much pulls by me specifically. So we've got a V Internatus from the High V series set. It does have like a form of whiting almost, but it's not play whiting, because like this card was a pack pull by me, so I'm not quite certain how to describe it. Centering looks fine. There's not really any whiting on the back. I don't know. I guess a 9. I think it's still PSA worthy, although I want to send this to BGS because of the edge. So I think that's going to stay a PSA card. And granted, of course, all of this PSA stuff is speculation on whether the PSA will still be taking Pokemon cards, and depending on their prices, as we are still currently waiting for them to even accept submissions, and we're interested to see what their prices will be. Now, luckily in better condition, I believe actually from the same pack, if I remember correctly, I pulled Internatus V and Internatus V Max back to back in the same, at least booster box. So also from High V, really cool looking card, pretty nice, no issues. This actually, because this looks like a 10, I'm going to write 10 and I'm going to write BGS, so this will go into our BGS submission. Again, for anyone who's kind of wondering, we're kind of separating things for reasons. Reasons being BGS is just retaining more value, which we appreciate, which there's some things that are good about that and some things that don't make sense. So I've got an amazing rare. Forgive me if I can't pronounce it. Yveltal. Really cool Pokemon. It looks almost like a Digimon, actually, to be honest, in my opinion, like one of the final bosses of Digimon. I really like what they did with Amazing Rares in terms of even putting a Hollow Flow on the energy, although that makes it very difficult to read what the energy is. That Psychic energy is almost impossible to read. And if you were just doing a quick glance, you would think colorless, but that is a dark energy. So very interesting. Amazing Rares are actually really cool in my opinion. A nice touch without being too overdone. Centering looks fantastic. And front and back. So this will be another BGS, and we think it'll be a BGS 10. And so might as well send it to BGS. BGS costs a little bit more, although that may change. It may be either the same or a little bit less than PSA after PSA finally redoes their prices. We think we may actually make a personal trip to BGS if I have the location right. I haven't asked him. I think maybe I mentioned it briefly once to him, but I believe that's definitely more so in Vintage Pokemon Hunter Brothers neighborhood sort of style in his state. It's not really close to him, but if we can organize a time, him and I can meet there together in person, if it works out for him. So nothing really wrong here. Of course, it all is a matter of timing. I've got a lot going on. Again, no reason why this card couldn't be a BGS 10. And so we're going to go ahead and line that up to BGS. We found out what was wrong with our recording with the camera and whatnot because we have filled up our memory on our iPhone, and that really sucks. So that was what originally kept making our camera cut out while we were doing videos. There just wasn't memory space. So a few videos are screwed up, but it's whatever. This is a really cool card. I did not know about this Pokemon until I got back into it. So this is a VMAX Toxtricity. I'm pretty certain I'm saying that one right. Seems like it should go out how it's spelled. Centering looks great. Not really seeing any issues. Again, these were pack pulls. And I mean, ultimately, if you were to ask me, oh man, really? Why is that on there? What is that? And here's the funny thing. It's not going to count as a misprint, but that's not dirt. That's actual. I mean, maybe it'll count as a misprint, but I really doubt it. So again, to know if something's a misprint or dirt, there's a wax layer on the card, and if you do it under white light, you'll make the wax, show all white. And if the thing you're seeing is covered by the white, that means it's part of the card, as in part of the print. If it sticks out to where like we would right now only see only the brown dot, then it's dirt on the card. So interesting. I don't think that's going to count as a misprint. It's very, very tiny, although I guess that is how most misprints are. But we will see. So we'll write 10 BGS notes misprint brown dot on back. Very interesting. Up next is a Lapras VMAX, and this was, I mean, really, if I had the money and time right now, I would go back to opening the set. It was awesome. Granted, because the set has such an insane pull rate, it makes the cards also worth way less. That's just how pull rates work. Again, don't see why it can't be a BGS 10, so... And you have to understand, the risk to reward to sending in a BGS if your card's already in really good shape is fairly good, since now currently BGS standard 10s are going for more than PSA 10s, which there's reasons why that doesn't make sense, and reasons why it technically does, but really it doesn't. But the chances, if you're going to get a BGS 10, there's a pretty good chance you could get a BGS 10 black label, and you might as well send it in for that. So going a little bit retro again. Meganium, Neogenesis, these almost always, depending on how you get them, almost always are in really good condition. These usually aren't played, although it looks like there is a small nick, but I think it's worth sending in. Centering looks great. How's the back? Back looks super fantastic. We'll do a zoom in on that nick. You can see what I'm talking about. It's a slight, maybe just miscoloration in the pattern that gives it the, see how the light is? See how it's white on the corner, but on the very bottom lip, there's a darkness. So that's a sign that there's a nick because it's casting a shadow, that unevenness. See the other corner, all white? It's kind of hard to see. But that's kind of why doing this under white light, very bright white light, and doing it with I wouldn't say super high professional camera, but this is the iPhone 12 Pro Max, has pretty good camera resolution. Ooh, this one's tough, but I do think it could get a 9 BGS, which still makes it worth to send to the BGS, so we're going to send it to the BGS. Yeah, it is starting to look like, especially with this specific stack, if you haven't seen our other stacks, we're really starting to lean more towards BGS. We're not really necessarily stuck on PSA so much. And if my PSA membership runs out before they take submissions, shame on them for doing that, for one. And two, I guess tough luck. I think the PSA is still a good grade carding option, but I really think that they're falling back on sports cards, which is what they are. PSA stands for Professional Sports Authenticator. They do a lot of certifications for a lot of things. I think pretty much any card they do coins. Like I think they even do like your normal standard silver coins, but you wouldn't want to use them for that. But they'll do the Pokemon coins. They'll do Pokemon almost anything. They do a pretty good job. But their turnaround has been really terrible lately. They've completely fallen back from that contract, and they're not compensating their customers in any way for that, and that's pretty weak on them. If you can't meet contracts, okay, so there is some whiting. This might be a PSA card. but the back is pretty good. Centering is off. I don't see why it can't be a PSA 9. See, centering's off on the front too, kind of harder to notice, but this is going to be PSA card and possible PSA 9, maybe even PSA 8 because the centering so bad and they really harp on centering. And it's really funny, right before I am shooting this video, I just watched Vintage Pokemon Brothers video on the PSA conspiracy to where people are thinking PSA is grading harder all of a sudden. I don't know if PSA is really grading harder. I think their grading standards have gone more wild. I think they've hired a bunch of rando people who weren't card graders in the first place. But one of the things that the video talks about or highlights, centering's off on this one a little bit left to right. Top to bottom's fine. Don't see any roller issues. It's a really beautiful card. I don't think this was a pull by me. I think I got this in someone's collection. Maybe it was a pull. Ooh. Centering's way better on the back. That could be a 9 to 10. I'm going to BGS this one. So one of the things is a lot of YouTubers who tried to be PokeTubers or tried their hand in Pokemon, and I don't mind it so much. Just, I don't know. It does get me a little irritated when the YouTubers immediately jump to one thing that they were never doing in the first place anyways. But, you know, a lot of them got their cards graded that they bought off people and got back. And they were saying, oh, this isn't supposed to get this, isn't supposed to get that, but they weren't taking into account whiting, and I think one of the main things they weren't taking into account was centering, because even I didn't know about centering for a long time, like I just didn't. See, this one's off top to bottom, left to right's fine. A really nice full art card. Wishy-Washy's definitely not really like a Pokemon I shoot out for, but it's a really nice art, really nice hollow foil, really cool card. Looks like, oh, that came right off, that's good. All right, really cool, nice. There was an issue with this card, I believe, on the back when I was prepping this video. So it looks like there's some stuff on the back. I don't think that's gone. Oh, that came right off. That's good. But there was some other issues. Maybe not. Maybe it was my imagination. There's some smudges and stuff like that. But yeah, if you don't really take the time to really look over your cards, which, you know, we're getting to do here, what to look for. I know there was something wrong with this card. Centering is off on the back, that's for sure. That puts it down to the 8 to 9 category. Where is it? Did that just, was that on the penny sleeve or something? I remember there being an issue right before I was about to shoot this video. I was like, oh man, that sucks. Oh, see, I think my eyes are just playing tricks on me. I saw a crimp here, but now I don't. So that being said, no dents, no creases, no crimps. With centering, because it is fairly off, and minor whitening, we're sitting in the 8 to 9, and I think I'll send it to PSA. I'm not trying to fully pull away from the PSA, but for me, I kind of follow the value game, and also if you have ever followed me for any bit or such not, I've always preferred how BGS's label looks, and that they actually kind of give you a small summary, not a super in-depth, but at least a summary of what they found wrong with the card in a sense. So I think that's pretty cool. Definitely prettier label than I think the most one, without being too out of touch. I've seen some other stuff, like I think the one service called Diamond Grading Services, and they're really shooting out there for gamers in a sense. It's kind of all that rainbow feel, hollow foil on hollow foil, and I really think it's kind of unnecessary. I don't think the PSA label is really all that great. It's pretty plain, and it lacks information. I mean, if you're gonna be plain, at least give us some information. BGS, pretty label, and it gives you some information without being overdone. So I really like that. So I do prefer BGS, at least in terms of looks, and now also in terms of value. So this was our set of 10, and more to come. Thanks for watching. Bye.